these problems this year your first time. So ID verification is one of those. Now with ID verification, what has to take place is you got to verify yourself. I think, you'll get a letter in the mail. You can call a number. I think you can go online. You can do it at any IRS building. And I think it's the way that you can do it if you sign into your account, because if you sign into your account, it has something to do with ID me. So you can verify yourself that way. But at any rate, if you get selected for ID verification, you cannot get your money before you verify yourself. So the longer you take to verify yourself, the longer it's going to take for you to get your money. And you do not instantly get your money after you verify yourself. It's going to take a little while before they release your money. And matter of fact, everything I'm telling you why your refund might be delayed, it's going to take a little while. Good morning, caller. It's going to take a little while for you to get your money, period. And ain't nobody can do about it. Well, there's a couple of things you can do about it, but not for real, for real. All right, so you got ID verification. Then you have income verification. Income verification is different from ID verification. ID verification is you identifying yourself, making sure the IRS is asking for you to tell them that this is you and that you filed this tax return. That's ID verification. Income verification is that the IRS wants you to verify the information and the income that's on your tax return. Okay, so you do that by sending them a W-2 if they request, a 1099 if they request, whatever they request in reference to your income that's on your tax return. You have to submit that information before they release your tax return. And if some reasons why your refund might get delayed. But before I get into that, let me say a couple of reasons. Well, before we get into why some reasons that your refund can be delayed, let's talk about a reason why a lot of y'all refunds are delayed right now. So, number one, every year for the last 5-6 years, we have been dealing with the PATH Act. And if anybody don't know what the PATH Act is, it's the act they put into law. Oh, I can see somebody. Good morning, Shannon. It's a law that they put into place 5-6 years ago in reference to if anyone who has earned income tax credit and additional child tax credit, they cannot receive their tax refund. Hey, Tasha. They cannot receive their tax refund before February the 15th. So, a lot of you all have the earned income tax credit, and a lot of you all have the additional child tax credit. So if you're filing your taxes right now, which is fine, go ahead and file. But if you're filing your taxes right now, good morning, Miss Claire, you cannot get your tax refund before February the 15th. So I don't care what's going on with nobody else's return. If you got those credits on your tax return, you cannot get those credits. Now, what I think is a confusion is you might be seeing some people who have dependents on their tax return and they actually got dates to get their refund. And you're like, well, that can't be true because so-and-so got a date. Well, it is true because some way, somehow it has got out that if you got a dependent on your tax return, you cannot get your money before February the 15th. And that's not true. So it's two credits, the earned income tax credit, the additional child tax credit. Those two, you got them on your tax return, even if you got $1 of them. Single people do get earned income tax credit. Some single people. So if you got those credits on your tax return, you cannot get your money before February the 15th. Now, you have people who don't get either of those credits. They don't qualify for either of those credits. But they qualify for the child tax credit. Those people do not have to wait to after February the 15th. They can get their money in the regular 8 to 21 days processing time. So it's always a confusion in reference to that. But it's not if you have a dependent on your tax return. It's if you have the earned income tax credit and the additional child tax credit. So let's clear that up. Okay. Good morning, Miss Clara. Good morning, Shanika. Good morning. About when, for instance, February 15th come and you don't get a date. For those who's going to be looking for a date, you don't get a date and you don't know why you don't have a date. So let me go over some of the reasons why you might not have a date or your bars don't move. Y'all know y'all be looking at those bars while your bars don't move. And so one reason is because you can be selected for ID verification. If you remember, good morning, Ann. If you remember last year, it was a lot of people who got selected for ID verification. To the fact that the IRS had to open up every Saturday all over the United States because so many people had to do ID verification. So you can get selected for ID verification. And I don't know what triggered ID verification, but I do know that just because you never got selected for ID verification before doesn't mean that you won't get selected for ID verification this year. So one thing that I know a lot of y'all taxpayers love to say is, well, that's never happened to me before. And you always think that somebody done did something to your tax return because that ain't never happened to you before. It's certain things that don't have nothing to do with tax pros. It has everything to do with the IRS. And so ID verification is one of those things. As a matter of fact, all of these things I'm getting ready to tell you right now is got to do with the IRS for the most part. And we have no control of it. And it doesn't matter if you never had that problem before. It doesn't matter if you never had that problem before. You can experience any of these problems this year, your first time. So ID verification is one of those. Now with ID verification, what has to take your last paycheck stub? That if you filed your last paycheck stub and your income the documents, your W-2s do not match what was filed on your tax return, they're going to make you do an amendment. So just know that. So you need to turn your income in when they send you a letter in reference to income verification. Now, the good thing about income verification is this. Back in the days, we had to fax the information in. We had to wait for them to get it. And then ultimately, it might take a longer time for them to even receive it and process it. But now on the IRS website, they got like an uploader tool to where you can upload information to your account or to whoever you need to upload it to versus faxing it in, which will get there quicker, which will ultimately help you process it quicker. But again, income verification is one of those things. Now, a problem with income verification is sometimes you get selected for income verification because whoever you work for have not submitted their documents. And if they have not submitted their documents and they gave the documents to you so that you can file your taxes, but they ain't sent it to the IRS, then that's a problem. Okay, so you can get flagged for that as well. So if you get selected for income verification, you need to turn your income or show whatever your income is. Now, mind you, again, that's going to take a while once you turn it in for them to actually process your tax return. Now, mind you, nobody really be knowing like how long it's going to take for real. But do it as soon as possible, okay? Now, make sure I didn't forget nothing. Now, the other thing is you can get selected to verify your dependents, okay? So, I can tell you this. The IRS is getting real crazy. I'm talking about real crazy. They're not even playing with us tax pros. They're coming in, auditing us to make sure we're doing our job. They got a whole lot of letters going out right now, and I'm praying I don't get one. I ain't got time for them. But they got a whole lot of letters going out to different tax pros where they're coming in to verify their advertisement, to verify their fees, to verify that the information is stored and locked up and confidential. They doing all kinds of stuff. But one thing they also is doing is they're trying to combat EITC as they always have, and in reference to people claiming dependents that are not theirs. Okay? And are not necessarily not theirs, but dependents that they're not supposed to claim. Because this is the difference between a tax pro, a person that knows the tax law, and someone who tries to do their taxes on their own. And don't think because you did your taxes on your own, they're not coming after you too. Because they got y'all on the radar as well. So it's certain type of tests and requirements for you to claim dependents. Just because you have a child does not mean that you got rights to that child to claim that child. People think that you could just claim a child because they're yours. People also think they can claim a child because somebody told them they can claim a child. It's rules to you claiming these dependents. And the most common rules for most of the credits and even the head of household deduction is one, the dependent has to reside with you over 6 months out the year, which a lot of y'all, that's where y'all don't qualify for the credit because the dependent does not live with you over 6 months out the year. And of course, if we ask you, do they live with you? You say yes, right? But they might not live with you. So they are targeting people who claim dependents is not theirs. So people, I call them high risk clients that they target a lot, is fathers that claim their dependents. Because at the end of the day, they be thinking they supposed to be with the mama. We know there's a lot of single fathers out here. I have a lot of single father clients. But for whatever reason, the Irish crazy. So they be thinking like those kids really don't live with you for real. So you shouldn't be claiming them. Because it don't matter if you pay child support or not. If they have not lived with you for over 6 months out the year, then you cannot claim them. And it's not half the year. One, they stay with me half the year. They stay with them half the year. It's over 6 months out the year. And a child can only stay with one person over 6 months out the year. That's number one. Number two, that you provide over 50% of their support. And, the cost of the cost of living, and that's like utilities, rent, all those different types of things. And you got to be able to provide those documents. So if you can't provide those documents and you claim a dependent, y'all better think again, because you might have been claiming those dependents for 15 years. Okay, you might have a grandchild that's 15 years old, and you might have been claiming them every single year. And this be the year they want to pull you for dependent verification. So they do pull you for dependent verification. Okay. Then you have fraudulent fraudulent credits. That call them fraudulent returns too, but fraudulent credits. So there's certain credits that are out here that the IRS is targeting if they're on your tax return. Now, that fuel credit that everybody be trying to use, people get 20, 30,000. I don't know which y'all be out here again, but they use that for a couple of years. The IRS is targeting that credit. You use that, there's a good chance that you're going to get flagged. The other one that's really, really popular is, the household income. The household income. So the household income is this. So a lot of y'all have businesses and y'all really supposed to be filing Schedule C's, and the people don't put them on the Schedule C. They put it on this specific line, on this specific schedule, and to get you more money. And they've been doing that for a long time, like some dummies. And they don't got so crazy with it that the IRS are flagging those returns. So some of y'all don't even know y'all have it on there. That's the crazy part. So they're flagging those returns. And they're flagging a lot of the energy type credits. This is flagging a lot of different credits that a lot of y'all don't qualify for. And then people just be putting on your tax returns to get y'all those big refunds y'all be talking about. So they're flagging a lot of those. They have filters up for sure. They put those in newsletters. So they do have filters up for sure to flag those returns. So don't let nobody put that stuff on y'all return. Because with those particular credits, the IRS is really going after those credits because it's so fraudulent, and so many people have been using them. And even if you use them in the past, say 3 years from now during COVID, it doesn't matter. They're coming back and auditing you. And with a lot of people this summer, last year, or whatever, they started sending letters out to taxpayers who had those credits, and they was give them a chance to amend their tax return. So they was really being nice. Give them a chance to amend their tax return, or they was going to impose a $5,000 penalty for them filing fraudulent credits. So they're getting really, really crazy. I'm not going to even lie to y'all. They're getting really, really crazy. So you got your fraudulent credits. They'll hold that up. And then y'all don't like this one, but it's the truth. And this is the one to get on my nerves, for real. Like, you get on my nerves. But it is the truth. Some of y'all are just going to get held for no reason. There's not going to be no reason you being held up. You're just going to get flagged. You're going to get caught up in the mess, pretty much. You're going to get caught up in the mess. So it's nothing going to be wrong with your tax return. You're not going to have to verify your ID. You're not going to have to verify your income. You don't have no fraudulent credits on your tax return. And you don't have to verify no dependents. They're just going to hold your return for no reason. And mind you, it be massive returns like this every single year. Now, why can your return get held for no reason? The reason why is because, I'm going to probably be a little complicated, but I'm going to teach y'all something. All right, so with the IRS system, it's called the MEF system. So it's a motorized electronic filing system. And what usually happens when we send tax returns out to the IRS, they go straight through this computer system. Now, some people going to go right through. They're not going to, nobody's going to have to look at their tax return. The computer is going to do what it do, and it's going to release your refund. That's how, when some of y'all be doing that crooked stuff, you get the money, you be like, oh, well, I got the money. That's the only reason why you got the money, because some kind of way, because so many returns going out during the day, all day, it just went through the system, and you didn't get flagged or anything, and you end up getting the money. You weren't special. I mean, I guess you was special, but your tax preparer didn't do nothing. You just was lucky enough for your stuff to go through the system. Then you have where, because they have all these different filters up to catch certain credits, you can get flagged incorrectly, right? And because you got flagged, now your return has to be manually reviewed by the IRS so that they can look and make sure that you don't have any of these things or don't need any of these things. So now you gotta wait. Then you have where, y'all know it's a computer system. So because it's a computer system, they have errors all the time. Okay? And every single year, some part of us filing, they have a big day. They have a whole lot of errors, and people actually get caught up in the system and get flagged, and now your return is on hold. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with your return. And the crazy part about it, I be thinking, like, what do the IRS really be doing for real? The crazy part about it be a lot of times people that don't even have a whole lot of credits. They might just have W-2s and their dependents, and they get caught up in the system because it was an error. So yes, your refund can get delayed because you got flagged. And anytime you get flagged, the reason why it takes a long time for you to actually get your tax refund is because somebody now has to a person manually has to go in and review your tax return before they can release it. And y'all know, especially, right now, they about to fire some folks, it look like. The IRS don't ever have enough people to take care of it. And that's why it takes so long. So a lot of y'all like to blame us as tax pros. I hate it. Sometimes I do hate this job. I'm not gonna even lie. Y'all try to blame us for everything. Everything. Y'all try to blame us for everything, but a lot of times we don't have anything to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing to do with nothing. I don't have a whole lot of information on Bitcoin and taxes. It is some stuff stirring up. And I think they are changing, if your refund get held up, like what some of the possibilities is. Make sure y'all share this video out, because y'all know y'all be looking crazy when y'all money held up, when y'all watching those transcripts and the numbers ain't changing. Y'all just kind of be going a little crazy. So it's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna be confused about what be going on with their refund and why it's being delayed. So make sure y'all share this video out. Make sure y'all tag anybody that needs to listen to this information. And lastly, I think this is last. You welcome, Kevin. Lastly, if you need your taxes done, if you have not got your taxes done and you want your taxes done by us at Expert, we got 2 locations. We ain't got no location nowhere else now. We got 2 locations. We have one in Columbus, Georgia, and one in Stone Mountain, Georgia, which is the outskirts of Atlanta. Those are the only 2 physical locations I have as Expert Tax Service. I don't have them nowhere else. I don't have them in Texas. I don't got them in Macon. I don't have them nowhere but in Georgia, and that's Columbus, Georgia, and Stone Mountain, Georgia. It's the only Expert Tax Service I own. Because y'all be calling me, because the people at the other Expert Tax Service be doing some crooked stuff. It ain't me. So if you would like to schedule an appointment, you can inbox us to get an appointment, but you also can email us at support@experttaxservices.com, and one of our assistants will schedule an appointment with whoever you want to schedule an appointment with, especially if it's me. Then if you're out of town, it don't matter. Y'all know it don't matter. If you're out of town, you can submit your information online at www.experttaxservices.com. Okay, that's how you get to me. I don't know what be wrong with y'all people be thinking that I don't want no new clients. I take new clients every year. I don't be turning people around unless you want to do some fraudulent stuff. So at the end of the day, I do take new clients. Most of the time you're going to talk to me at some point. I do my own returns. I might have somebody input them for me, but I do my own returns. So you will talk to me. I will look at your tax return. So if you want me to do it, definitely. Of course, a lot of y'all be in another city, another state, or whatever. Some of y'all be out of the country. Just go to my website. If you need to communicate with me and you're out of the country, I do have a WhatsApp number. My WhatsApp number is my cell number if you just need to talk to me on WhatsApp or whatever. And I think that's it, y'all. Again,